Dear colleagues, dear friends, my lecture will be on using Twitter as a tool for audience research on kernel music. Why would we conduct audience research on kernel music? Well, just because the kernel is the public music instrument by excellence. We all know that. Two reasons. First, it penetrates the public space. And second, also very important, it is mostly, not always, but mostly funded by the passive listeners or taxpayers. So audience research is a moral duty out from respect for the audience. Moreover, it generates a few extra benefits. First, functional. It gives the carillonneur feedback that enables him or her to make playing more effective towards the public. Second, financially, market research can give evidence to a carillonneur's employer that there is public appreciation for kernel music, even when you don't see that public. And third, from a personal point of view, it gives reassurance for the carillonneur that although the audience is invisible, there is really an audience. But surprisingly, audience research on kernel music is almost never done. Why is that? Well, probably mainly methodological problems are an issue. You cannot put a kernel in a laboratory situation and control all the different variables that influence public appreciation of kernel music. Also, most of the audience cannot be identified. They are passers-by, local residents, they are invisible. And there is also a risk for biased results. If you conduct research to your friends by submitting questionnaires to your followers on Facebook and so on, you will get positive results, of course, but those are not really helpful. Those are not neutral, not objective. Which are the research possibilities? First, we can try to extrapolate the research results in other domains of music, psychology, perception research, and social psychology. Of course, those results have to be validated before we can assume that they also apply to kernel music. And second, those results will not give specific information on your local kernel and its music. Second, you can conduct street interviews. Interesting, sometimes it's done, but it's difficult to get controlled and objective data and high number of observations. And third, it's possible to search information on social media. And I'm not speaking here about Facebook and Instagram, etc., because the information you get and the appreciation you get as a carillonneur on those platforms is heavily influenced by your own social bubble. And you get positive comments by friends, many comments, they like your music, but they are your friends. That's different. So I tried to get objective comments by analyzing Twitter. Twitter has some advantages because tweets represent spontaneous emotional responses on kernel music on the spot by everybody and not only from the people who are your followers. Second, Twitter makes the invisible audience visible. Very interesting. Analyzing Twitter is free, no cost, if you use the right keywords. And the results can be checked afterwards by other people because the tweets remain on the platform. There's also some disadvantage. In most research efforts, the number of observations will not be sufficient to get statistically significant results. And also the Twitter public is not the average public. It's generally high educated people and so on, younger people and so on. So I suppose that Twitter analysis works better for campus carillons than for city carillons, probably. What did I do? I used a fixed set of keywords, you can see them on the slide, to get as many as relevant tweets as possible. I noted all of them, of course not only the positive, also all the negative. It's about playing on different carillon towers in Leuven by different players, mostly the university carillon, the library carillon, mostly by myself, but not only. I got a total number of 180 tweets posted by 147 individuals between 2009 and April 2021. 180 tweets, 12 years, maybe not too many, but I assume that this is the top of the iceberg and that they also represent a broader opinion, because I cannot imagine that everybody who likes carillon music or who hates carillon music uses his smartphone immediately to send a tweet to the world. So, top of the iceberg. Okay, let's go to the results now. First, the ratio between positive and negative comments. Well, 93% of the tweets were positive. Only 6% was negative. That's of course an overwhelmingly positive result if you know the use of Twitter. Let's break down now the positive comments. 21% says something in the atmosphere of, oh, that's amazing, that's a great player, how can he do that? Something like that. 27% is more on emotions. This music makes me happy, it's moving, it evokes memories. I associate this with some nice thing I experience, things like that. 17% considers carillon music as a nice accompaniment, a nice distraction during work or during study work even. 14% mentions a connection between the music and the place. Oh, this is why I love this town, the carillon music. Oh, this is a nice university by the carillon music. And then some other comments, less frequent. Let's go now to the negative comments. There are only 10. Half of them mentions frequency and length of playing as an annoying factor. It's too much, too frequent. And 30%, so 3 comments, write, this is a bad moment. I want to study. I don't want carillon music at this very moment. And then only 1 respondent says, it sounds bad. And another one says, bad choice of music. An important question is a specific piece or song mentioned? Yes or no? Well, in 77% of the cases, it is. So it is a very interesting observation that recognition of music is an important trigger to tweet positive messages by the audience. So what is then the top 10 of pieces and songs played? You can see them here. Mostly pop music, film music, also some oldies. Almost never classical music. Of course, this list is heavily influenced by my repertoire. But I also play classical music, but it's never mentioned. A few quotes, just as an illustration. This is from a Spanish student or professor, I suppose. And this is from a smoking student or professor or researcher. So the surprise is an important trigger for sending tweets. This is a selection from the English language tweets, which account for 20% of the total number. So 80% is Dutch, 20% is English. So to conclude, some takeaways. Don't be afraid of the voice of the people. Generally, they like your play. Search on Twitter reveals emotions from the invisible audience that can help you to upgrade your audience from zone of indifference to zone of sympathy or delight. Those tweets can show you the way. Interesting observation, the decorative supportive function of kernel music is important. This music made my day. This music is the reason why I love Leuven. Also interesting for your employer. Recognition of music is the main driver of audience delight. So, evergreens, pop, film music, and so on can serve as what I would like to call engines for better appreciation of kernel music in general. This is not a call to only play popular songs. It is an advice to design mixed programs, and maybe it's good that in the beginning of concerts you play popular music to arouse interest and appreciation, and so that interest can also help appreciation for the other music, the genuine kernel music, the classical music you will play during your recitals. And to conclude, from an audience point of view, you have to consider the kernel more as a music channel for the passers-by, for the residents, than as a music instrument. I hope you will discover Twitter as a useful instrument for audience research and analysis, and I wish you a lot of fun in reading those tweets because they represent applause for your playing. Thank you.